In the hour of destruction, there were angels falling from the sky. See the picture as they plummet to the earth. Craters were formed all around the earth. The heavens were cloaked in darkness, with plumes of thick smoke, where the cities were burning, and animals all around were scampering for safety. Yet they found no refuge, for the world they once called home was visited by a catastrophic event, and death consumed them. Thunder and lightning had rented the atmosphere as Michael and his angels pushed out Satan and all his angels in his fellowship. The waters turned murky and dark, and now they were filthy and bitter. The earth became a desolate wasteland, with no light near or far, as the fallen ones writhed in pain, unable to escape the defeat. Is this the reason in Genesis 1 verse 2 that we never got to see the prehistoric animals? I believe the answer is yes. For the evidence of a world before Genesis 1 existed, and it means that the world was ready for us to inhabit. But the insurrection, that is, the deep want of Satan to overthrow God and his plan for man to rule the earth, bore no fruit, and therefore a whole new world had to be created, or rather, restored by the Almighty God. Welcome to the channel. We'll be walking this journey of man, God's frequency, part 5. Let's take a look at Job 38, verse 4 to 30. Now this is when God was restoring the earth, and a great deal of time had passed. It may have been millions of years, and this period may have been a conglomerate of super weather seasons. That is what we call the Ice Age, the meltdown, the massive storms, the extremes of summer and winter, all at once, and so on and so forth. But then came God and his light, and an assembly of myriads of angels, standing in the balconies of heaven, looking down upon the earth. And as we read Job 38 alongside Genesis 1, we get a deeper, clearer picture of earth's restoration from God's own description. Job 38, verse 4 to 30. Verse 4. Where wast thou when I laid the foundations of the earth? Declare if thou hast understanding. Only God is the creator of all things, and this destroys atheism, for in all things the work of the Creator speaks on his behalf. Verse 5. Who hath laid the measures thereof, if thou knowest, or who hath stretched the line upon it? It's definite that it's God. Verse 6. Whereupon are the foundations thereof fastened, or who laid the cornerstone thereof? The earth is a flat surface, held up by foundations that he laid himself. Verse 7. When the morning stars sang together, and all the sons of God shouted for joy. Now these are the angels who sang in worship as God restored the earth. So what they were doing is they celebrated as God restored the earth. Verse 8. Or who shut up the sea with doors when it brake forth, as if it had issued out of the womb? When I made the cloud the garment thereof, and thick darkness a swaddling band for it, and brake up for it my decreed place, and set bars and doors. Verse 11. And said, Hitherto shalt thou come, but no farther, and here shall thy proud ways be stayed. From verse 8 to 11, God set up boundaries in the sea to keep the land dry and the waters from moving past their allowance. Verse 12. Hast thou commanded the morning since thy days, and caused the dayspring to know his place? Now all days and nights are fixed by the Lord, and are ruled by the sun, moon, and the stars. Verse 13. that it might take hold of the ends of the earth, that the wicked might be shaken out of it. This means the wicked can do nothing about God's order. Verse 14. It is turned as clay to the seal, and they stand as a garment. And from the wicked their light is withholden, and the high arm shall be broken. Now God is saying He will allow the wicked to go only so far before He steps in and breaks their arms, which He has done many times in the past and will yet do in the future. Verse 16. Hast thou entered into the springs of the sea, or hast thou walked in the search of the depth? Have the gates of death been opened unto thee, or hast thou seen the doors of the shadow of death? Now all these places are known to God, who created them all, including death. Hast thou perceived the breadth of the earth? Declare if thou knowest it all. Where is the way where light dwelleth? And as for darkness, where is the place thereof? Now light is distinct from the sun, and you can verify with Genesis 1, verse 3. Verse 20. That thou shouldest take it to the bound thereof, and that thou shouldest know the paths to the house thereof. Verse 21. Knowest thou it, because thou wast then born, or because the number of thy days is great? Now in this question, God is simply saying He is the Ancient of Days, or He is the Ageless One, in comparison to Job. Job was a man, and he lived to a limited time as compared to the Ancient of Days, who is ageless like God. Verse 22. Hast thou entered into the treasures of the snow, or hast thou seen the treasures of the hail? Verse 23. Which I have reserved against the time of trouble, against the day of battle and war. God has used these elements against His enemies, and a good example is in Exodus 9, verse 22 to 26, in the plague of hailstones falling from the sky. Verse 24. By what way is the light parted, which scattereth the east wind upon the earth? Who hath divided a watercourse for the overflowing of waters, or a way for the lightning of thunder? Verse 26. To cause it to rain on earth, where no man is, on the wilderness, wherein there is no man. To satisfy the desolate and waste ground, and to cause the bud of the tender herb to spring forth. Now, it's God who brings the rain for the plants and the animals, where it's a desolate wasteland, where it's a wilderness and no man is there to steward that land and the animals and the plants. And verse 28, we get to see more of the description of God's creation. And he asks, hath the rain a father, or who hath begotten the drops of dew? Now God is the Father of rain and dew. Verse 29, out of whose womb came the ice, and the hoary frost of heaven? Who hath gendered it? Verse 30, the waters are hid as with a stone, and the face of the deep is frozen. Now, a good example of this is the Arctic and the Antarctic, that is the North Pole and the South Pole, where the waters are hid as a stone, and the face of the deep is frozen, meaning it's an ice plain or with ice walls, a place that is cold and has extreme low temperatures. Verse 31, canst thou bind the sweet influences of Pleiades, or loose the bands of Orion? Now, God is simply showing you that He fixed the stars in the sky, and He knows each star by name. Now, from this we glean that Job, who is being asked these questions had no answer as pertains to all of God's creation. The earth was created by God with details that display His wisdom, in depth, where no man or angel can fully describe or reveal about each creation in its place on earth, sea, and sky, and with their various or specific functions. Now this sheds light on what an intricate and beautiful world God had created. This chapter of Job 38 sheds light in detail on what Genesis 1 is all about. Now here comes the grand moment when all but with words the world is shapen back into its original form in Genesis 1 verse 1 to 31. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. And God said, Let there be light, and there was light. And God saw the light that it was good, and God divided the light from the darkness. And God called the light day, and the darkness He called night. And the evening and the morning were the first day. And God said, Let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. Now this is what we call the dome of the earth. It separates waters from above and the waters that are on the surface, or the oceans and the seas. And God made the firmament, and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. And it was so. Verse 8. And God called the firmament heaven, and the evening and the morning were the second day. And God said, Let the waters under the heaven be gathered together unto one place, and let the dry land appear. And it was so. Now this refers to the seas, oceans, and rivers. Verse 10. And God called the dry land earth, and the gathering together of the waters called He seas. And God saw that it was good. And God said, Let the earth bring forth grass, the herb yielding seed, and the fruit tree yielding fruit after his kind, whose seed is in itself upon the earth. And it was so. Verse 12. And the earth brought forth grass, and herb yielding seed after his kind, and the tree yielding fruit, whose seed was in itself after his kind. And God saw that it was good. Now God already instituted the various species of vegetables, herbs, plants, and trees. Verse 13. And the evening and the morning were the third day. Verse 14. And God said, Let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs, and for seasons, and for days and years. And let them be for lights in the firmament of the heaven, to give light upon the earth. And it was so. And God made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night. He made the stars also. So in verse 16 we capture He made the sun, the greater light, and the moon, the lesser light. And He also fixed the stars in the sky. And God set them in the firmament of heaven to give light upon the earth, and to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from the darkness. And God saw that it was good. Verse 19. And the evening and the morning were the fourth day. And God said, Let the waters bring forth abundantly the moving creature that hath life, and fowl that may fly above the earth in the open firmament of heaven. And God created great whales, and every living creature that moveth, which the waters brought forth abundantly, after their kind, and every winged fowl after his kind, and God saw that it was good. Verse 22. And God blessed them, saying, Be fruitful and multiply, and fill the waters in the seas, and let fowl multiply in the earth. Now in this, God begins a new way of propagation, that is, from living bodies. And from living bodies come forth other similar living bodies, which isn't the case with plants. Plants bring forth fruit with seed, but with birds, fish, and other animals come other creatures like them. Therefore the blessing of God is a propagation. Verse 23. And the evening and the morning were the fifth day. And God said, Let the earth bring forth a living creature after his kind, cattle and creeping thing, and beast of the earth after his kind. And it was so. And God made the beast of the earth after his kind, and cattle after their kind, and everything that creepeth upon the earth after his kind. And God saw that it was good. And God said, Let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him, male and female created he them. And God blessed them, and God said unto them, Be fruitful and multiply, and replenish the earth, and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth. And God said, Behold, I have given you every herb bearing seed, which is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree, in the which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed. To you it shall be for meat, and to every beast of the earth, and to every fowl of the air, and to everything that creepeth upon the earth, wherein there is life, I have given every green herb for meat. And it was so. And God saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good. And the evening and the morning were the sixth day. Now I would love us to note something, that in verse 26, that God said, Let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. Now, Lucifer once ruled this world, and if you have listened to the song Viva la Vida by Coldplay, you will capture that he sang this song. He is simply saying he ruled the earth and all these things that God had created. Now, at this point, man comes on the scene, and what was missing, that authority, that figure of authority, had been missing in the earth after the destruction. But when man comes on the scene, the authority is restored back to him. It's taken from Lucifer and given now to man, who will steward and rule the earth in God's will and way and timing. Now the once wasteland had now come back to life, and Satan and his angels could not stop it. Note that this authority Lucifer once had on earth is now taken from him and is now given to man. Now that the earth is restored, a new creature comes on the scene. This is man. He was no ordinary being, and we'll delve deeper into detail of the creation of man in the next video.